Some Manchester United players will be feeling uneasy after what Ruben Amorim has been saying to them in private, but also some things he said publicly. It's very clear, I think Ruben Amorim knows who he wants out, but also anyone causing trouble, anyone he seems that could be harming the project will be shipped out. And the one thing about Ineos is they're brutal. We saw with the Dan Ashworth situation, with some of Rashford going on loan. They are ready to ship people out. Leny Yoro returns from injury. He discusses his return from injury. We'll talk about Leny Yoro. Adam Wharton links would be a very smart move, but will be outpriced. Subamende links. I know there's not a chance that we sign Subamende, but I think the links are interesting because Subamende, Adam Wharton, similar profile of player. I think it's very obvious what kind of profile of midfielder we are going for. Progressive passer, exactly what we need, and we'll talk about why the news is interesting. Osimhen apparently wants the Premier League. There's a youth star over in Argentina that United are keeping an eye on, and obviously we've got more Hugo Ekitike links as well. Well, I'm going to leave that to the end because I feel like we've been discussing him loads in recent videos. So let's get into the news. Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. Welcome back to your 10-minute roundup. And let's talk about sort of Ruben Amorim's warnings to Manchester United players and news stories that relate to this over the last month. Ruben Amorim has warned that any Manchester United players who he deems to be harming the squad will be shipped out this summer. And I think some stars will be worried. This is the time of any player that is not part of Ruben Amorim's project, he is open to selling. Maino and Garnacho are not even untouchable. Diogo Dalot, sorry, that was player of this season last year, could be shipped out because he doesn't fit the system. Ruben Amorim will ship out players that he thinks, one, doesn't suit his system, but two, harming the team. Marcus Rashford, he didn't think was showing an example in training. He was shipped out. Any player that he thinks could cause an issue in the dressing room is shipped out. Any player he's not impressed with in training could be shipped out. And any player he doesn't feel like fits the system could be shipped out. And Ineos will back that. It's not you can sit at Manchester United on high wages and expect to play because you're one of the bigger players and the manager has favourites. He's willing to take action, no favouritism, ship anyone out that he thinks could harm his project. And Ineos are going to back him on that. Now, interestingly, I think Ruben Amorim is already aware of who we could be shipping out because this was a quote said from last month on saying goodbye to some players at the end of the season. He says, we can talk about it at the end of the season because it's difficult. We still have a lot of games to play. It's not a difficult situation because everyone understands in football, sometimes you stay, sometimes you have to move on. If you know how to explain it, it is easy. I like to do it because I want to be clear. When you're honest with someone, it's difficult at first, but the person will understand. So I'm very honest with my players, and they already know sometimes you have to move on at the end of the season. Now, he is obviously talking mostly about the players that they're going to leave on a free at the end of the season, but he's going to be having conversations with certain players and saying, I'm open to moving you on at the end of the season. Now, I don't know what he said to Højlund or Garnacho or Nana, players that could go. I assume he's had conversations with Casemiro to go, Malacia to go, Eriksen's obviously going to go, Anthony, Rashford. But Ruben Amorim will have private words with the players and tell them, I know this isn't easy for you to hear, and I know you're not going to like hearing this, but you're not going to be part of my plans. And if he's told players they don't want part of their plans, they can stay on wages if they want and not play and cause issues, but they will somewhat be forced out. And, some players will like the honesty. Some players might feel a little uneasy. One player that's reportedly feeling about uneasy is Anana. Maybe the manager doesn't want him. He doesn't want to go, but the manager doesn't want him. And if he feels he's not wanted, then he said, if he feels he's not wanted, he could go. And now there's interest in Saudi. There will be players inside Man United that could feel uneasy. So let's talk about Leny Yoro's return. I feel really good. I'm back in training and I don't feel any pain, is what Yoro said, which is good news. I'm really happy. Everyone at the club helped me. It was very important for me. He said, everyone at the club has helped me, even with the injury in the middle of the season. The medical staff, the players, the fans, everyone were able to support me. And this is something you need when you get a big injury. It's important for me. I feel for Leny Yoro because he started the season injured. He didn't even play under Ten Hag. He came back in under Amorim. He'd been brought to play in a back four. He'd never played in the back five in his life. He makes his debut under Amorim where he's got to play as a wide centre back in a back five. And he had a really good game versus Arsenal, really impressive. And then he started versus Southampton. He had a stinker. So then everyone tried to make out that Leny Yoro was bad and write him off, which is crazy just because of one stinker versus Southampton. But you could tell he was adapting and learning the system. And there was elements that he was struggling, but there was also elements where he showed really good signs. The Liverpool game, the tackle on Darwin Núñez, the Arsenal game, he was really good in those games. And then I think the last 4 or 5 games in a row, Leny Yoro has been really good. The last 4 or 5 games in a row, Leny Yoro has started, been a wide centre back, been really good. He's understanding his position more, his positional sense. I think he's been so much better on the ball, off the ball. I was really impressed with Yoro, and then he picked up that injury, which was a massive, massive blow. And it was so frustrating to see that he'd picked up this injury recently because he just had 4 or 5 good games in a row. And we were seeing wow, this baller, Leny Yoro, how good he is. Because some people have wrote him off. Some people are saying he's a flop, he's not that good because he's an 18-year-old with his first season in the Prem, playing in a back three for the first time, who's had a lot of injuries, which is crazy if you're writing Leny Yoro off. He is going to be one of the best centre backs in the world, Leny Yoro, and he's with us. So be excited about that. And I thought, the last few games he was really good before his injury. So hopefully he can pick up where he left off. Please be true. Manchester United are interested in signing Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton, according to the Mail. The only worry with Wharton for me is the price. I would get Wharton, but I think it's going to be 70 million plus, and I don't think we're going to spend that kind of money on Wharton. I don't think he's there yet. I would spend 50 million pounds on Adam Wharton, but I probably wouldn't spend any more, and I think Palace will want 70 million. They're doing well. He's playing great, even after a slow start to the season. Adam Wharton is the perfect profile of midfielder we need. Someone that can play in a midfield too, and someone that's very good at progressing the ball. Adam Wharton is the perfect guy. I would look at Hayden Hackney because I think he could be 20 to 25 million pounds. He's a very good progressive passer, could play in a midfield too. And I think he can be that player maybe if we can't get Adam Wharton in. I would maybe look at Hayden Hackney. But it's very obvious we're looking at that kind of player. We also have an interest in Subamende, but he's probably going to go to Arsenal. We have an interest in Subamende, we have an interest in Wharton, and we have an interest in Hayden Hackney. Three of the best progressive passers in football. That like to pass the ball forward. Bruno plays deeper because he's one of the only progressive passers in the squad. So I think these Subamende and Wharton links show that we clearly need a progressive passer, and we do. We lack progression on the pitch. We need another ball carrier wing back. We need a ball carrier number 10. We need a striker that can score goals, and we need a progressive passer. We also need another centre back for depth, and you could argue we need a goalkeeper. And I think for me, if I had to highlight the four most important positions, it's a centre back for depth, it's a 10, it's a striker, and it's a progressive passer in midfield, because that's why Bruno plays deep, because I can't do that. We struggle with players that can break the lines, play those forward passes, and Wharton's a monster at that. I would love Wharton. Subamende's great, we're not going to get him. Steeler would be fantastic, but we're not going to get him. I think Hayden Hackney is that maybe most realistic option for that position there. But I think the Subamende links again just backs up the kind of player we're looking at. But I don't think there's any chance that we sign him. I'm going to be completely honest. So this was said by TBR Football. Victor Osimhen's representatives have informed Saudi Pro League clubs that he wants to play in the Premier League next season. The reports also add that he's willing to join Manchester United even if they don't qualify for the Champions League. Now, for me, I like Delap, I like Etike, I like a lot of the young players we've been linked to, but I think Victor Osimhen is the kind of player that you'd want at striker at Manchester United. He's proven, I think obviously the wages is an issue, but he's proven he's a top scorer, he's good in the air, he's guaranteed 15, 20 goals, and if we want to be a good team, we need a guaranteed goal scorer. And he would be the guy for me. I like Delap, I'm a big fan. There's a lot of players out there I'm a big fan, but Ekite is a risk. Delap is a risk. Gyökeres doesn't want us, but Victor Osimhen does. Victor Osimhen is a player that's a good player, that's ready-made, that's a guaranteed goal scorer that wants us. I feel like all the other guaranteed goal scorers, they want Champions League football. They want a team that's at top. I think because he's gone over to, of course, Galatasaray had that loan. You can tell that if he's open to going on loan there, he would come to us. He's only gone on loan because of issues at Napoli. My only worry with Victor Osimhen was, is he just going to go where he gets the highest wages? Is he going to bin us off for Saudi? And then is that the attitude we want? But I think, I think he's still young. I think he's only 26, if I'm correct as well. I'm going to Google that. 26 years of age. So he's still a very good age as well. If I'm United, I think he's got a 58 million release clause. I'd 100% go for it. 100% go for it. I feel like that's one of those deals you wouldn't want to miss out on. Continue on as well. Solly Talk said this. Manchester United have entered the race for Argentina wonder kid Ian Subabri. Is that how you say his name? Probably not. Over 13 clubs across Europe are in hot pursuit, with Chelsea leading. And it's understood to be highly influenced by Vival, and the scouting department was said by Solly Talks. So again, interesting news coming out here. Now, I remember a report maybe a year ago where I think we were actually linked to the River Plate kid, Ian Subabri. Again, I'm not going to act like I know loads about him. I'm not going to act like I've watched him. I do know that Franco Mastantuono is a higher rated of the two players. But I remember his name being picked upon once, maybe a year ago from an Argentina source, or maybe the Muppeteers. And so he's definitely probably one that United are looking at. But again, Chelsea, young player, surprise, surprise. I think it's one of those where Man United are looking at a lot of young players. Vival is there looking at a lot of young players. South America, Africa, Asia, Europe. He's one of the many young players we're looking at. Doesn't mean we're going to make a move for him. Doesn't mean we're going to go for him. But he's one of those young players that, we're looking at. We could make a move for. We might not make a move for. Now, as far as I'm aware, he plays right wing, and he's very good in terms of just his ball control. Apparently, he's quick. He's creative. I couldn't tell you much about him. I saw someone online say he was a bit of an Angel Di Maria type player. But again, I'm not going to act like I know loads about him. But, apparently he's pretty quick. He's pretty, good energy, pressing, and a good dribbler with good ball control. So could be one for the future. There's also more news stories coming out that Manchester United have very strong interest in Hugo Ekitike. I've said his name wrong, whatever. Is it Ekitike or is it Akite? Or Akitike. I don't know. I know how you say his name. I apologise. I get it because every time I say it one way, someone says no, it's this way, and someone says no, it's this way. But there's a shared belief he could be an Isak. I spoke about this in my live stream earlier. He's either going to come in and just it's going to be a flop the first season, or he could potentially be the next Isak. But it's such a risk. Are United in a position to take that risk? No, we need a proven goal scorer now. I think if we were City and we already had a Haaland, we're in a position to take that risk, but we're not right now. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below, and bye.